I'm going to ask Keetha and company to come up to provide our update on our community college foundation.
Thank you, President Himmelstein. And I'd like to start by introducing Patty Sullivan, who is our newly appointed board chair, and would like to turn it over to Patty to say a few words.
Thanks, Keetha.
Patty,
Thanks very much.
so glad you're there.
And you're leaving me.
Yeah.
Apparently you're leaving me in good hands.
I am.
Well, thank you very much, President Himmelstein, and congratulations to incoming Chair Manuel Baca and Vice Chair Jeffrey Baum. I look forward to working with both of you, as well as the full Board of Governors. I've had a chance to meet some of you in the past, and some work very closely with. Had a wonderful relationship as I have been on the board of the foundation for 13 years now. So have watched its maturation over the years. And we're very pleased with its current incarnation and look forward to growth. A little bit about myself. I had to think about this. I'm just beginning my 4th decade with IBM.
Wow.
It's a little scary to think about. Currently I'm a global leader responsible for our solutions and strategy around education. So as such, I get to travel around the world. I get to see what's happening in education, how technology is changing education, and hopefully bring some of those insights to the community colleges. But also to see a lot of what is going on here in California as a longtime citizen. I'm very interested in the community colleges, the success of the community colleges, and was very happy to support Proposition 30. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Keetha to give an update on our activities. I look forward to participating in future Board of Governors meetings. I will not promise to be here every meeting, so I don't want you to expect me every meeting, but I'm going to try and make about half of them. And Chancellor Bryce Harris, we're hoping that you can join some of our Board of Directors meetings as well, and the first one in December. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Patty. So I'm going to change the order a little bit of the materials that are in your packet, and I've got 3 topics that I'm going to hit on today that are a bit diverse. One is student success, then I'm going to talk about some collaborative efforts, and then end with the presentation of our financial audit, which is a required annual presentation. But I thought I would start with the student success presentation, and this is something that we're very proud of the progress that we've made so far, and really excited about the partnership opportunities that this is creating between the foundation, the Chancellor's Office, and the Board of Governors. So there's a PowerPoint presentation. I think hard copies have been presented, and it's also projecting on the screen. So I just want to start about talking about the foundation's vision in being involved in student success. So we see our role as really being a resource to the Board of Governors and to the system, and helping carry the banner of student success, leverage the existing relationships that have been created with existing funders and work groups that have been created, identify new partnerships, make sure that those that need to be at the table are at the table for implementation, and also trying to find new funders that are interested in funding these student success initiatives. And at the end of the day, we see our role, again, as being a resource to help progress the implementation of the recommendations. Again, in that role, we see the foundation as helping to continue the momentum that is well underway with the Chancellor's Office. There is a lot of tremendous work that's been happening with the Chancellor's Office to move the initiatives forward, and we want to work really closely alongside the progress that's already been made to provide additional resources. So we're looking at places that, where does it make sense for the foundation to be involved? Where can we get the most bang for our buck? We want to make sure that we have infrastructure in place to really be that support structure. We want to make sure that we're collaborating appropriately, that we're not getting in the way of things that are already being done, but again, working alongside and helping push those forward. and also trying to identify those areas in the student success recommendations that align with philanthropy, finding those areas that the funders are interested in and want to invest their private funds into helping our system. We're very proud of our successes so far. We've been awarded, in just a few short months, we've been awarded over $1.1 million in private grant funding to further the agenda. The first one, we received a $300,000 award. It's a 3-year award. That funding came from the California Education Policy Fund. And the second award, which just came in the past month or so, was from the Kresge Foundation, and that's a 2-year award of $845,000. The first award, the $300,000 over 2 years, is really more of a kind of a capacity building award, but it does still come with some key deliverables that we're responsible for. And so under that kind of capacity building award, what we're focused on is helping to increase the awareness of the student success initiatives, raise the profile, and really maintain that sense of urgency around implementation. We also want to focus on technology solutions, providing technology solutions, but not just technology that integrates with that really important face-to-face interaction that the students need to succeed. Again, making sure that our data is standardized, as much as possible, so that we can collaborate with each other among the colleges. And then we're also really focused on the accessibility and making sure that we are addressing any issues related to the digital divide. And we plan to do that by making sure that we're integrated with other digital literacy programs, including our very own digital literacy program, California Connects. The second grant was from the Kresge Foundation, and you'll see as I kind of walk through the bullets and the things that we're responsible for under the Kresge grant, you'll see very close alignment between the two grants. So as we go after additional funding, what we're trying to do is stack those building blocks. So we're trying to aggregate the funders, choose something that we could really kind of dig into and help move forward, and then build upon that with additional funders. So you'll see the first bullet there is that we're committed to helping inform students about the priority actions that were just legislated here recently. Again, working with the Chancellor's Office to identify system experts to help us move forward, making sure we're integrated with existing systems, including CCC Apply that sits at the statewide level. We don't want to go out there and recreate the wheel. We want to look at what's working out there and how do we make it work better for the system. And at the end of the day, why are we all moving this agenda forward? It's to increase the number of students that achieve their educational goals, whatever their goals may be. And we're not done yet, so we're really excited about these wins and these accomplishments, and working alongside with the Chancellor's Office to move these initiatives forward. And we really see this as kind of the stepping stone to more great things to come. Funders love student success. There are a lot of things that fall under the student success umbrella, and funders love to fund things that other funders love to fund. So we will work to leverage these successes to approach other key funders with these types of projects, and again, looking to align what are those items that are attractive to funders with the agenda items that we're trying to move forward. So that's kind of a summary of where we are and where we fit in with student success. And maybe I can either pause here and take questions on this or power through at your...
Why don't you go ahead and complete your presentation, and then we'll give board members time to ask questions.
Okay, sounds good. So I will power on and move on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which is our collaborative efforts really around prioritizing our community college foundations and really promoting the importance of fundraising in our California community colleges. And the first thing that I want to talk about is our inaugural national conference for community college advancement. I think I've talked about this at the last couple of meetings. So we had our first conference in partnership with CASE. That conference was in early October. we had over 450 attendees from throughout the nation. It was the largest conference of community college advancement professionals ever. About a third of those were from California, so that means there was a big contingent from throughout the nation. So it was really great to be able to showcase showcase California, showcase our California community colleges and their foundations, and the great work that we do from a philanthropic perspective. We have scheduled, well, first I'll say that CASE was also very pleased with the success of the conference, and within CASE, which many of you guys may know CASE, they put on conferences all of the time. This particular conference has already elevated itself as one of the premier conferences and most successful conferences that they put on. So we're all really, really excited about that. So given its success, we're already planning for next year. We'll be on again in early October. We'll be back in Southern California. We had a lot of conversation around they're committed to staying in California for at least 3 years. We had a lot of conversation about trying to do a northern-southern switch. Due to cost constraints, we'll be back in Southern California next year, but we are all committed to planning ahead early and moving the conference to Northern California in the subsequent year. Other collaborative activities that I'll highlight. I was just at the Academic Senate Fall Plenary with Chancellor Harris with his first remarks to the system. So we've been working with a lot of our brother and sister organizations throughout the system. So I was really happy to be there with Michelle Pilati and her leadership. And the messaging there was around promoting our college buys offerings and talking to the faculty about the discounts that are available to them and the discounts that are available to students, and encouraging that partnership to help promote those offerings with our students. We'll also be at the Community College League of California conference later this week. We worked really closely with Scott Lay and his leadership team alongside the network of California Community College Foundations to promote fundraising type presentations at this particular conference. So we have 2 presentations that are planned that highlight kind of best practices in fundraising. And we also worked with Scott Lay and his leadership team to move our annual Philanthropist of the Year award to the League conference. So we'll be awarding the Bernard Osher Philanthropist of the Year award at the Saturday awards luncheon. There'll be a representative from the Osher Foundation that will be there to help co-present the award. And the honoree is Genentech. So there'll be representatives from Genentech there as well. And Genentech has been an avid supporter of the community colleges, and we're really proud to recognize them for their support of the system. So I know many of you will be in attendance at the League conference, and I hope that you will seek out the specific sessions related to fundraising and help promote them with your colleagues at the conference, and hope that you'll also be able to stay for the awards ceremony. We've also been working really closely with Susan Beret of ACA, and really enjoyed the lovely dinner that ACA sponsored last night for the Board of Governors. And we've been working with ACA on other partnership opportunities, really identifying what are all the conferences that happen throughout the state with our key constituents, what are the right messages that we can help bring to the table for those key audiences, and then how do we help these other organizations continue to sustain, and how can we help promote each other. We're all family, and we all fill somewhat different roles within the family, but at the end of the day we're all kind of working towards the common goal of supporting the community colleges, so we're trying to help band that together. The final topic, I saved the best, most riveting, exciting for last, is our annual audit. So in your packets is the full audit. You'll be happy to hear that I'm not going to walk through the full audit. What I thought I would do is just hit a couple of highlights on the audit. You guys have seen these numbers before. These are our fiscal year 2012 numbers. It takes a little while to get through the audit process, so I think you guys saw these numbers maybe 2 or more meetings ago. But it was, from all counts, it was a good year for us. The audit opinion is what's called a an unqualified audit opinion, which is a good thing. You guys may remember in previous years, we had a qualified opinion, but it was because of a lack of information that was available from CalPERS. We're that very unique organization where we don't use governmental accounting standards, but we participate in a governmental pension plan, and there was certain information that wasn't available. And so in past years, that created a qualified opinion for us, which was a little quirky because we would typically have to kind of explain that away. We were very happy that there was new accounting and auditing guidance issued this year, which allowed our auditors to remove that qualification. So we have an unqualified, totally clean opinion. The auditors also reviewed our largest federally funded program, and they did use government auditing standards to audit that particular program. They looked at our internal controls, they looked at compliance with laws, regulations, all of that sort of thing, and everything came out clean from that perspective. Just a very high-level overview of our 2012 results, just as a reminder, because it was a very good year. Our balance sheet is now just over $90 million. About $80 million of that is related to our permanently restricted scholarship fund. So that's where we provide about $5 million of scholarships a year statewide. We did see a decline in total revenue in 2012, and that was primarily related to one of our very large youth and adult services contracts that was cut from the budget in the past year. But despite that revenue decrease, we were able to generate about $560,000 of unrestricted reserves in the past year, which is really probably our best year ever. I know it's the best year since I've been associated with the foundation. And what that did is that allowed us to more than double our reserves. So we have unrestricted reserves now of about $1.1 million. And so we're making good progress towards the goal that I've been talking with you guys about since I've been in this seat, of trying to create a reserve base of about $3.5 to $4 million just to ensure our long-term viability. So good progress there. And then the final stat that I will share with you is that we do continue to operate very leanly. Our administration and fundraising expenses combined are about 10% of our overall expenses, which means that for every dollar that comes in the door, 90 cents of every dollar that comes in the door goes back out to directly provide programs and services to the community colleges. So very lean, and at $40 to $45 million a year, we provide much needed support to the system. So with that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to address any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments from board members? Member Baum.
First, thanks for a great report, and I just want to reassert how pleased I am with your leadership of the foundation, and it's really evident in these reports. The fiscal health of the foundation going forward, last time we met, there was that major contract loss. How are we dealing with that, and how does that impact the future of the foundation?
Sure. So one of the things that we'll talk about at our upcoming December board meeting is a new financial reforecast. And so we're now at a point where we are reforecasting results on an annual basis. We've had the new Kresge grant is new since we talked last. So the new reforecast still shows underperformance as compared to budget, but improved results as compared to last quarter's projection. So we're continuing to project positive net results for the year and improving positive net results for the year.
And we do those reforecasts every quarter.
Mm-hmm. But will we have to lay off any permanent staff as a result of the shrinking revenues?
Yeah, that's a good question. At this time, there are no plans for layoffs. The program that was impacted was our student internship program, and that's a program that we're able to, again, operate very leanly. So we use our internal back office human resources staff to administer that program, and those staff are integral to running our business. And they're very lean. There's 2.5, I think, 2 full-time and a student assistant that are in our human resources department. And so from a student intern perspective, That team is now refocused on business development, pursuing private sector business opportunities and non-state agency opportunities. And then they're also focused on looking at our current state agency program and looking at ways to reconfigure that program so that the agreement that was put in place between the labor unions and the governor won't impact us going forward. So looking at restructuring the program so that we can re-engage with our state agencies when that agreement expires on July 1.
Other comments? Thank you very much
Thank you.
for a great report. We appreciate it. And welcome to the chair.
Thank you.
Patty. All right.